a coworker the same way. Each social layer demands its own grammar, vocabulary, even tone of voice. Break the rule and you break harmony. For foreigners, this creates a constant sense of wearing a mask. Even if you want to be honest, the language itself forces you to filter. Japanese people are raised into this system, so it feels natural to them. For outsiders, it feels suffocating. This duality is most visible at namakai, after-work drinking parties. There, colleagues relax, joke, complain, even reveal frustrations. Masks slip a little. But the next morning everything resets. Yesterday you were laughing over sake with your boss, today he's distant and formal again. For Japanese people this is normal. Namakai is a designated space for venting. For foreigners, it looks like double standards. Then there are social expectations. Conformity is king. There's a proverb, the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. And it's not just words, it's daily reality. Leave work on time. You're judged. Voice a sharp opinion at a meeting. You're quietly excluded. Wear something unusual. You'll get whispers behind your back. That's why Japanese people create zones of deviation. These are safe spaces where they can release tension, wild art, shocking adult culture, cosplay, drunken karaoke nights. In these spaces, they can finally scream, laugh loudly, act crazy. But it's not real freedom. It's a pressure valve. I knew a banker who lived this double life. By day, he wore a suit, spoke in rigidly formal kigo, bowed deeply. At night, he dyed his hair, wore costumes, and attended cosplay parties. I asked, why such extremes? He smiled, because it's my only chance to be myself. And that is the hardest thing for foreigners. If you come from a culture where you can be yourself anytime, Japan begins to feel like a cage. A polite, clean, safe cage, but still a cage. For every smile, for every bow, you pay with a piece of your freedom. Over time, a double feeling grows inside you. On one hand, admiration, this society is disciplined, respectful, organized. On the other, suffocation, it doesn't let you breathe fully. You're always checking yourself, did I disturb harmony? Did I say too much? Am I standing out too much? This silent self-surveillance is exhausting. Some foreigners give up and leave. Others stay, adapting to the rules, learning to accept the masks. But all agree, Japan is a place you can't be indifferent about. It will either enchant you or drain you, or both, at the same time. The longer you live in Japan, the more you notice things tourists and even new expats never see. At first, it feels like paradise, clean streets, safety, politeness everywhere, trains running on the second. But over time, small cracks appear, and through them you begin to see the hidden architecture of Japanese life. One of the biggest illusions is the idea of community. Japan is often portrayed as a society where people care about each other, where harmony is above all. In reality, harmony here often means silence. Problems aren't solved, they're hidden. Conflicts aren't confronted, they're avoided. If your neighbor is loud, you don't complain directly. You leave an anonymous note. If a coworker fails, you don't criticize them openly. You just exclude them from decisions. On the surface, there's no conflict. But underneath, tension, isolation, suppression. I remember one shocking story. A foreigner lived in an apartment building where an elderly Japanese woman constantly harassed him, banging on his door, shouting insults, leaving trash at his doorstep. He complained to the management. Their response? We value harmony. Please ignore her. The woman continued her harassment for months. Everyone saw it, no one intervened. The system chose silence over confrontation. That's how harmony is preserved, by sacrificing the individual. This mechanism shows up in more tragic ways. Cases of suicide are often hidden behind words like personal reasons. Bullying in schools, igime, is ignored until it becomes unbearable. In companies, workers collapse from overwork, karoshi, but colleagues pretend nothing is wrong. The culture of silence protects the collective image but destroys individuals within it. Foreigners face this wall of silence constantly. When you try to integrate, you're welcomed politely, but never fully included. Japanese colleagues might invite you to a party, laugh with you, but major decisions are still made behind closed doors, in a circle of their own. There's always a subtle barrier, invisible but solid. Marriage doesn't erase it either. Foreign spouses often describe a feeling of double isolation. On the one hand, they're expected to adapt completely, learn the rules, follow the customs, serve tea, attend family obligations. On the other hand, they're never seen as fully Japanese. Even their children, half Japanese by blood, are often treated as different. The hardest part is that this exclusion is never aggressive. There are no insults, no open rejection. Instead, there's endless politeness that keeps you at a distance. Smiles that never let you in. Invitations that are never fully sincere. It's like living in a house with glass walls, everyone sees you, but no one touches. And yet, foreigners continue to stay. Why? Because Japan offers something that's hard to find elsewhere. Safety. Order. Predictability. Streets where you can walk at night without fear. Children going to school alone at age 6. Lost wallets returned with all the money inside. This security creates a paradox. Even while feeling excluded, you're drawn to stay. But security has its price. That price is freedom of individuality. Try to express yourself too loudly, and you'll be politely pushed aside. Try to question traditions, and you'll face quiet disapproval. Try to resist hierarchy, and doors will slowly close. Some foreigners adapt by creating their own bubbles. They gather in expat communities, speak English, build small islands of freedom inside the rigid Japanese system. Others dive deep into assimilation, learning every nuance, bowing at the right angle, speaking Kigo fluently. Yet even they admit, full acceptance never comes. I once asked a Japanese professor if a foreigner could ever become one of them. He thought for a long time, then said, maybe, if they live here 40 years, speak perfect Japanese, marry into a Japanese family, and behave exactly like us. Then he paused and added, but still, they'll always be slightly different. That, slightly, is the eternal gap. The irony is that many Japanese themselves secretly dream of escaping their own system. Young people look abroad and envy Western freedom, the ability to choose careers without family pressure, to express opinions openly, to live without rigid roles. Some go abroad to study, and when they return, they feel suffocated again. They call it reverse culture shock, suddenly realizing how many masks their own society forces onto them. And yet, despite the masks, despite the walls of silence, Japan keeps enchanting foreigners. The beauty of temples at dawn, the meticulous service at restaurants, the quiet of neighborhoods at night, all this is mesmerizing. It's a constant contradiction, a society that suffocates and fascinates at the same time. Living in Japan teaches you one crucial lesson: paradise does not exist. Every system has its price. Here, the price of safety and order is individuality. Here, harmony is achieved not by solving problems, but by burying them deep. And once you see this mechanism, you can never unsee it. For some, it's unbearable. For others, it becomes part of life. But for everyone, without exception, it changes how you see the world forever. The deeper you go into the labyrinth of Japanese life, the clearer one thing becomes: this is a country of masks. Everyone wears them. Some are paper-thin, like a polite smile at a shop counter. Others are iron, forged over decades of obligation, duty, and silent suffering. At first, these masks look beautiful. Politeness, respect, dedication, it seems like an ideal society. But then you realize, behind the masks lies exhaustion. People smile not because they're happy, but because they must. They bow not out of warmth, but out of ritual. They work not out of love, but because the system leaves no choice. The workplace is where the masks weigh the heaviest. Japanese companies demand loyalty beyond reason. Employees arrive before their boss, leave after him, work overtime without complaint. They sacrifice weekends, holidays, even health. Saying no is almost impossible, it would break harmony, damage group spirit. So they say yes to everything. And inside, they wither. I knew one man who worked for a trading company in Tokyo. For 15 years, he never took a vacation longer than 3 days. His wife left him, his children grew up without him, his health collapsed. When he finally suffered a stroke at his desk, the company sent flowers to his funeral, and the next day, his co-workers returned to their desks as if nothing happened. That's the system: people are expendable, the machine keeps running. Foreigners see this and are horrified. But many Japanese accept it as destiny. They use words like gaman, endurance, perseverance. To endure without complaint is considered noble. To sacrifice for the group is honorable. Even if it kills you, it gives meaning to your life. This culture of endurance seeps into every corner. Children endure strict schools, endless exams, bullying from classmates. Housewives endure isolation, endless household duties, the unspoken rule that their lives exist for their husbands and children. Elderly endure loneliness, living alone in silent apartments while their children work themselves to death. Everyone endures, and they call it harmony. And yet, beneath this culture of endurance, cracks keep opening. Japan faces one of the highest suicide rates among developed nations. Stories of people throwing themselves in front of trains appear almost daily. There are entire forests, like Aokigahara, known as suicide spots. And while society whispers about tragedy, the machine keeps moving. Foreigners sometimes ask, why don't Japanese rebel? Why don't they refuse, break free, demand change? The answer is both simple and cruel: the weight of tradition is too strong. To rebel is to shame your family. To stand out is to invite rejection. In Japan, being different can feel more dangerous than being unhappy. But not all is despair. In recent years, small waves of change have appeared. Young Japanese explore freelance careers, remote work, creative paths once considered risky. Women demand more independence, refusing to live only as housewives. Some companies experiment with flexible hours, shorter workweeks. It's not a revolution, but it's a beginning. Foreigners, too, play a strange role in this process. By their very presence, they break the mold. A foreigner who refuses to bow too deeply, who leaves the office on time, who openly speaks their mind, they shock Japanese colleagues, but sometimes also inspire them. They show that another way is possible. Still, the price of living here never disappears. Every foreigner who stays long enough faces the same questions. Are you willing to wear the mask, at least partly? Are you willing to accept that full belonging will never come? Can you endure the silence, the distance, the endless polite rejection? Some can. They build lives, raise children, find beauty in the rituals. Others cannot. They leave, disillusioned, carrying scars from years of polite exclusion. And both groups are right. Japan is neither heaven nor hell. It is both at once. When I think of my own years here, I see them as a paradox. I've walked quiet streets at midnight, feeling safer than anywhere else in the world. I've seen cherry blossoms fall like snow, drank tea in wooden temples older than my country, received kindness from strangers that felt almost miraculous. And at the same time, I've felt crushing loneliness, silence heavier than any insult, distance colder than any winter. That is Japan's secret. It doesn't give you one truth. It gives you two, always intertwined. Beauty and suffocation. Safety and isolation. Order and emptiness. And once you've lived here, truly lived, you carry that paradox forever. You understand that paradise always has a price. You understand that masks can protect, but also suffocate. You understand that silence can preserve harmony, but also kills souls. And perhaps, in the end, that is the real lesson Japan teaches: life everywhere is a balance of masks and truths. The difference is only in how honestly a society admits it. Japan, with its perfect politeness, never admits it. But once you've seen it, you'll never forget it.